Coach, have you given any thought to what you're going to do or how you're going to break up the 15 practice sessions?
Yeah, I'm gonna give him time off first here, Rich. We're still pretty beat up with the flu, and even looking back, our players deserve a lot of credit. We had over 30 players affected by the flu in the span of 5 days, and for the most part, just about every single starter who had it attempted to play in the game. We had some kids with high fevers. We had kids that couldn't keep any food in. I just got to credit our kids for going out and just fighting through that and not making excuses. And, they gave it their all. And was it good enough? No. But, I respect them all for trying and attempting to do that. So I'm going to give them some time off this week. I even pushed back the training a little bit. I want them to rest and not be around each other because I don't want more people to get the flu. And then I'll have a light practice probably this Saturday and then the following, and then we'll ramp it up. Once we find out who we're playing, when we're playing, where we're playing, we'll do some developmental practices just to get some of the young guys more reps, almost treat it like an early spring football for them. And then as we get closer to the game, I'd like to game plan and get the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday practice in and done before we head out to the bowl site. Because I know that can be distracting, and we're going out there to have a great trip and a great time with our players, with their families. But at the same time, we want to go out and win a game. So I want to make sure the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday practice is done here first, and then we will repeat them when we get to the site, wherever we're going. So I think it will be a good mix, Rich, of developmental work. And then it will be just game-like prep for the game. And then we'll review and hit that running wherever we go.
We'll go next to Andy.
Hey, Jeff. I know Phil was one of those guys battling the flu, and also you mentioned his grip strength is not 100% yet. Would you attribute his struggles yesterday to those kinds of factors, or do you think it was also partly execution?
I think Phil struggled to throw yesterday because of his injury. I think the lack of him really not practicing until Thursday sure didn't help. I just feel like he was a little beat up still from the game before. And you could probably ask him and get a better idea. I decided to take him out once they scored and went up real early in the fourth or late in the third. I grabbed him and I said, I'm getting you out. And he wanted to keep playing. But my job is to protect him. And at that point, I felt like that was the best way to go. So, you'd have to ask him exactly how he felt, but I know he didn't feel great. 1, from the flu, 2, from being banged up from the week before, and then 3, he definitely wasn't gripping it and ripping it, and that's for sure. But he tried to tough it out. He ran the ball pretty hard, but you could tell he couldn't step in and really rip it like he does. So good question for him though.
We'll go to Tom.
I'm coming.
I got you,
My delay. Hey, Coach, how are you?
Good, man.
So, your name's been buzzing around the old interwebs today. I was a little surprised by some of it, but not, because I understand where you are in your career development. As we get to what's going to be a really crazy time of speculation and coaching speculation and whatnot, is there anything you want to get on the record regarding your commitment to BC? If there's been any other types of discussions, I know it's an awkward conversation to have at this time of year, but it's what happens.
No, that's a fair question. And I'm surprised it took this long to come up with some of the things that have been buzzing around. So I appreciate you asking that question. I didn't come here to just be here for a short period of time and leave. I believe in Boston College, and I believe if we build it the right way in time, I think we can win here consistently. I knew it would be hard when I got here. And there's certain things, obviously, I need to do better. But I do not plan on leaving. I plan on being here for a long time. I plan on building it the right way with great people. I plan on developing players, and I plan on winning here. So I hope that answers your question. I appreciate your question. And I appreciate you guys for not asking me that question during the game weeks, actually, because you probably all could have, but you didn't. And that could have been a distraction. So thank you for waiting until today. I really appreciate and respect that. And that does mean a lot to me.
We'll go next to Emma.
Jeff, so the offensive line unit coming into this year was one of the most heralded offensive line units in the country. And you saw they struggled yesterday. I think they gave up 4 sacks. What do you attribute that to? And, when you have that sort of a veteran group, what causes the collapse like that?
I don't see a collapse, Emma. I think when you really look close at our O-line, I think they were one of our most consistent units all year. Anytime there's a sack, you want to blame it on the O-line, not you specifically, Emma, because I know you're not blaming anybody. But when you watch the film, you really look deep. They blocked well this year and they protected well this year. And there's a lot more that goes into it on why there is pressure, why we're getting sacked, and why we weren't as successful on offense as we could have or should have been. But I don't believe it is putting the blame on the O-line. And I really mean that. Now, certainly, could they have played better in some games? There's no doubt. And there are certain plays, yes, 100%. But I think it's way more than just putting the blame squarely on that group. I think some of the guys played really well. With some injuries, we moved some guys around a little bit this year. But for the most part, that was a pretty consistent group. And I know it doesn't show, but when you watch the film, it does. So hopefully that answers your question.
Go next, Trevor.
Hey, Jeff, I know you're all about, building the culture and the growth. So just how do you think you have grown from year 1 to year 2 individually and as a staff and as a team? And what are some areas you still want to improve upon going to year 3? I know you'll go again.
Just reflecting today a little bit, Trevor, one of the biggest things I learned is we had a lot of injuries this year, a lot. And I don't know if I was totally prepared for that. I mean, we lost some guys really early in camp, and I'm not saying prepared, like I'm saying mentally prepared. We lost a lot of players. And I think what I learned is we have to create depth earlier. We need more depth here. We're not a very deep football team. We need to create depth. We need to take our young guys and we need to develop them faster. So when injuries happen, they're more ready to play. And I think we could have done a better job of that this year, because whether it was training camp, whether it was early in the year, or whether it was late in the year, we might have lost more guys for the season than most teams in the ACC. And, we need to develop guys faster. We need to create more depth. And at the same time, that is going to take time. There are a lot of young guys who played yesterday. A lot of true freshmen played yesterday. And, maybe we could have done a better job of getting them ready earlier to play. But we need to create depth here. And we need to go out and recruit and get more players. And we need to develop those incoming guys fast to give depth. So if guys do get hurt, we can roll in other players. So that's one thing that, looking back on, I think is important for us to do as a staff. I mean, there's a ton of other things that, have went through my mind today. I still need kind of time to sit down and go through it all. Things we could have done better as a staff. I have a list bigger for what I could have done better. And then certainly we need our guys to play better as well. We need to coach them up. So I think it's an accumulation of things, and I'm excited to get back to work and play one more game.
Go to Rich.
Hey, Coach, it's kind of the early indications looks like you could be playing at Fenway Park. Are there any pluses or minuses to playing just down the road?
It's close. We wouldn't have to travel very far. We could probably get a lot of fans there, a lot of people there. I haven't even seen any. I haven't really looked today. I don't really care where we play. I'm just excited to go with the team, and whether it's going to Fenway and spending the week in Boston or going somewhere else, I'm good with wherever we go and play. I'm just excited to be able to get back to work and play another game. Give me some time to explore Boston if we did that. I haven't had very much of that, Rich. So there definitely would be pluses. Proximity is one. We'd probably get to practice at our own facility, have all of our equipment, and use all of our video and technology to prepare for the game. And you know how that goes when you start lugging stuff, whether you're playing in a playoff or whether you're playing in a bowl site, bringing all your stuff and packing it all up and meeting in hotel rooms, and who knows where you're actually going to practice, what type of field you're going to practice on. I'll be excited wherever we get to go.
Go to Andy.
A little bit more of a big picture question, but I was wondering, when do players have to decide if they're going to use their COVID year, and what do those conversations look like?
Yeah, those are good conversations, because Those are conversations that I've already started to have, and I'm going to have tomorrow. Here's the problem. Here's what makes it really hard. So we get 85 scholarships and we can't go above the 85. Well, last year, the seniors, they didn't count within that 85. So you take a Ben Petrul, for example, he used an extra year, right? He didn't count towards the 85. So we were actually, the whole entire NCAA was allowed to have over 85 scholarships this year. So then the NCAA is also granted everybody who played that year, they got an extra COVID year. But now this year going forward, they have to count within our 85. So if I wanted to keep 15, call them super seniors, they'd have to fit in our 85, which means I would have to recruit less high school players, which means if I continue to do that each year, all of a sudden I'm not going to have any young players on the team to develop, and the roster management is going to be a mess. So I got to have conversations with all these guys this week. Just because the COVID year our players get, I can't guarantee every single one of our players who has the extra year to be on the 6th year here. Now, some of them might choose to go use their 6th year elsewhere, or some of them might just say, hey, coach, I'm going to go get a great job. I got a great degree. But those are conversations, and they're really hard because I have to look at the management of the roster by position, by numbers, by the future. And I know just talking to other head coaches, it makes it really, really difficult, really hard. What do you do all of a sudden in 2 years from now when you don't have enough players and you only have 25 initials to get back to 85? It makes it hard. So those are hard conversations you have to have. It's kind of like 5th year guys. Every 5th year isn't guaranteed either. So you got to look at the 5th and the 6th year guys, and you have to make some really hard decisions. So, they're not conversations I enjoy having, but the players know that I'm pretty honest with them, and I'll help them any way I can. But I hope you understand like the complexity of this and what the NCAA has really kind of forced us to have to do. And it's going to be conversations all over the country.
Go to Dan.
Coach, I actually wanted to ask you that about just the coming days with recruitment, and are you able to take it, now that there is no practice or no game to quite get ready for until the bowl announcement, until those 15 practices kick up? Where do you go from here? Like, is it just recruiting? Is it getting ready for signing day? Like, what is your kind of organizational mindset with the other coaches? Our
coaches are all on the road. They all left today. I stayed back so I can meet with a bunch of the players. And I will be flying out tomorrow to go see a recruit tomorrow night. And then I will be in a different state just about every day until Thursday night or Friday, when I will come back. We will have an official visit weekend. I will get back on a plane and I will be on the road until the following Friday. And we will have official visits. And then the following week is Saturday. So I will be in town Friday, Saturday, and leaving again each Sunday. So the next 2 weeks are going to be very busy. Each coach will be on the road up until the weekend. And I'm going to meet with players tomorrow to have some conversations, and then I will take off tomorrow night.
And just kind of as a follow-up to that, is there a part of it that when you have to do that too, do you still try, or are you done breaking down some of the games through the season, or is that just a continuous process to get ready for bowl season too, as you're kind of balancing through this?
Well, we will, as we're on the road, once we find out who our opponent is. We can't really do much right now. I mean, we've all watched our own games and have done our self-scout. And then all the guys who are back in-house, only the 10 full-time assistants and the head coach can go out on the road recruiting. So your graduate assistants, your analysts, they'll all be back. And they'll all be going through our film and writing them some self-scout stuff and giving us some video to watch while we're on the road, because we can definitely do that. We're in the hotels. And then as soon as we find out who our opponent will be, then that work will go towards game planning for them. But until then, it's just self-scout and recruiting. Truthfully, these next 2 weeks, it has to be all about recruiting. We got to close out. We have a great class. We feel like we have a great class coming in, and we need to go close out on them. And that is our focus. It's about getting the player right now. Make sense? Anybody else got any questions?
I think that's going to wrap things up for today. Thank you very much.